joined in September of '49, which was 1 month after my 16th birthday. We went to Korea by boat, and we were within a half a day's travel of the Chinese border. And we kept running into companies, battalion strength of Chinese volunteers as we were making our ways over the mountains. And then at some point further on, we got in kind of a firefight, and I got hit. And when I woke up, I was in a Chinese field hospital. A Chinese patrol had found me. The first words I heard was from the doctor, who said, you know, we are friends, we're not going to hurt you. Those months between November and probably the coldest parts of the months, November, December, January, February, probably in the compound that I was, if there were, say, 500 GIs in the area, by the time they went on the march back to the main camps, I seriously doubt if there were more than 50 alive.
My search for survivors also led me to Lynn, the widow of Clarence Adams. She was the first woman in China to marry a black American. She now lives in Memphis, Tennessee, with their daughter Della.
I am Clarence Cecil Adams of Memphis, Tennessee. My family and millions of other Negroes, plus myself, have suffered under the brutal attacks of white supremacy and the cruel slave laws of the southern states. These are the reasons why I can't be living happily with my family.
I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, where I was raised. I come from a working class family. My mother working at White Rose Laundry, and my father at that time worked at Memphis Furniture Factory.
He lived out back in what is called a carriage house, and actually over the carriage house.
During my last years in high school, I was basically getting into a lot of trouble.
He and his friends, his buddies, whatever, they were like a gang, were roving around the railroad tracks, and this white man started following him.
He wanted to know if we could get him a black woman. We walks away from him. He followed. And he kept hollering, hey boy, why can't I get me a black woman? We're afraid because we know what can happen. If we do something to him, they lynch us. We'll never get out of jail. We walking.
One of the guys just turned around and popped him in the mouth.
He went down. When he went down, we stumped him, all 5 of us, and we left.
The next morning, the cops came, and they knocked on the door, bam, 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 you know, opened the door, and you know it's the cops. So my dad was sitting in the kitchen, though, and his mother said, Skippy's not here, really loud, to let him know, you know, the cops are looking for him. And he went straight out the back door. He runs down the railroad track all the way downtown to the recruiting station and joins up.
I went in the Army in 1947. However, the Korean War changed my whole fate. I was captured, which was November the 30th, 1950.
It wasn't difficult for me to find the home of James Veneris, that first Westerner I had seen as a child. Bai Xirong, his widow after 40 years of marriage, still lives in the same apartment in G9.
就是我的很久，就是我的老伴儿，分不开的白头到老。
I am James G. Veneris of Hawthorne, California. Under the present conditions in the States, I cannot return. And when peace is established in the world, then I'll come back. You can blame all of this on the reaction in the United States and on McCarthy and his clique.
我在山上里边有一个院儿，一个小空窿，山洞，对，一个山洞里。我在里边哈，他们不知道了我在哪，我也掩盖起来了，我用那个树木。可是以后哈，他们都吃饭了，吃完了饭以后，志愿军来一个志愿军啊，拿一颗烟，都给每一个人一颗烟。
志愿军给那些联合国军发烟，
哎，
那是战俘。
哎，对了，给他们烟吃。我是烟鬼，我那个洞里边哈，24个钟头没有抽烟，我也顾得慌。哎，我拿我的步枪， 我下来了，我那个志愿军个子可高了。我想原来我想中国人个子都野了呢。嘿，他看我，他说 ，Do you surrender？ 他说的英文的，你投降了吗？我说我投降了。我投降了，意思是 sit down， 让我坐下，让我坐下 ，have a cigarette。他就给我一根烟抽。哎呀，可这个可劲了。
那我知道了，你这个投降志愿军的做战俘是为了那根香烟。
对，
对，对。
曾经申请过要加入中国国籍，好像。
My father applied for Chinese citizenship, but for unknown reasons it wasn't approved.
再后来他那个。
Then, right before he died, we were told that his request was going to be granted.
可以批准他。
But it was too late.
还没办嘛，他就去世了。
昨天他说他想入党，我得保的什么中国。He always said that he'd like to join the Chinese Communist Party because the Chinese saved his life. He had deep feelings for them. He almost died in Korea, and the Chinese took good care of him. He never forgot that.
In 1950, only a year after the birth of the People's Republic of China, the Chinese army was surprised at how many Western soldiers they captured. China mobilized hundreds of young graduates to work as translators and instructors.
When the Chinese first came across and actually captured as many people as they did, there was no place to keep us or food to give us.
They didn't know our policy, didn't know what we were going to do with them, if we were going to kill them, or force them to do hard labor, or keep them in China forever and not let them return home. So they worried a lot.
My supervisor asked me to read the regulations to the POWs. It began with, "Dear students." I was very surprised and asked why, because to me, they were prisoners and we were their captors. My supervisor said, "Yes, they are students and you are instructors."
Students, remember, we didn't even call us prisoners of war. We were kind of like students. We were there under their care. But I never saw any instance of mistreatment in the prisoner of war camp, ever.
We were trying to tell the POWs that capitalism was doomed to collapse and socialism was bound to win.
We had to go to lectures every day for the first year. I mean, they come and got us no matter where we were hiding, and we had to go up on the top of the hill and listen to lectures.
We changed by telling them that such a war was unnecessary, was dirty. Some POWs began to think that the American government should not have been involved.
We had no business over there, and I actually felt that way. And do you still feel that way? That we were wrong to go to Korea? Yes. When I say we, that the United Nations was wrong to try to contain communism there, that President Truman was wrong? I think it was a mistake still. Why so? But I don't think that we have the right to interfere in a civil war of another country, to try to stop it when it's not even close to our own shore.
You believe now that that was a civil war?
Yes, I think it was a civil war.